last Thursday when I opened up my Facebook page. And in it, there was this huge red picture, and it had a quote on it. And it read, "Sometimes the bad things that happen in our lives put us directly on the path to the best things that will ever happen in our lives." I was instantly compelled by it because it is such an important quote to me. I have strongly believed those words since I began to have a relationship with God. But had I read this quote 8 years ago, it would have meant nothing to me. So how have my beliefs and views in life changed so drastically in such a short amount of time? I've become a completely different person from the person that I was before. Let me take you back to where I was before I began this spiritual journey. Today I want to share with you how Christianity and relationship with God has changed my life, shaped me into the person that I am today, and continues to mold me into the person that I will become in the future. First, we'll take a look at what influenced me when I was younger, and then we'll look at the moment that led up to the journey and discuss the incidents that occurred that changed the course of my life. First, let's look at how I was influenced as a child. Growing up as a child, my mother introduced us to religion through joining a Jehovah's Witness Bible study. However, it was just a phase for her, and it didn't last that long. But the Bibles and the books that were given to us, I kept them. When I was a kid, I loved to read, so I kept these books so that I can read them and learn about try to figure out who God really was. They gave me an idea of who he was. I accepted that God had existed at a young age, but I didn't ever go to church. I had no religious structure. And I never really quite understood it. As a teenager, I slowly began to pray a little here and there. I knew God was there, but there was still no relationship. So now that you've seen how my faith was a bit weak growing up, let's take a look at the person I had become as a young adult. I grew up in a tough environment. As a teenager and young adult, I was raised with a dog-eat-dog world mentality. It was when I had my second child in my mid-20s that my outlooks began to change. I realized then that I had 2 children that I was responsible for to teach about life. I realized at that point that my children needed to learn about God, and I was that enabler. I had to provide more for my children than was provided to me. We began to attend a local church, Christian church, so that the word would be ingrained into their hearts as it was when I was a child. At this point, I began to get in touch with my inner self. I started to truly find who I really was, and I started the discovery of what my purpose was in life, and how I had allowed my past to shape me. I begged God to change me and soften my heart to those who I had felt had done me wrong. So I came to a turning point which led me into the spiritual journey that I'm in now. But let's take a look at who I've become today and how God has influenced my future. I began to join women's Bible studies and really started to gain a deeper sense of self and began to ponder what my purpose was. I ended up taking a huge job change by becoming a 911 dispatcher for the Sheriff's Department. I threw my family into this crazy world because the schedules were absolutely crazy. But I ended up losing the job after a year due to budget cuts. But thanks to that experience alone, I was finally able to realize what my true purpose was. And that was to help those in need mentally. I enrolled in an online college shortly after, and after 2.5 years, I began to feel something was missing. I dropped out halfway through my bachelor's degree to enroll into a Christian-based college. It was a disaster. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. And it caused me to wonder, did I make the right decision? But then I thought, isn't that what life is all about? Don't we have to weather the storm before we see that rainbow? I'm so glad that I weathered that storm in my life. In that short period of time that I've been a part of this school, I have learned more about God in a couple of months than I have in a lifetime. So finally I realized, yes, maybe we do live in a dog-eat-dog world, but I'm not a dog, I'm a kitten. And I refuse to live that way. So I want to thank each and every one of you to being a part of this experience for me today. You guys are all a part of this transformation by being here and listening to me. So thank you.
Thank you, Sandy, for that heartfelt personal testimony. Wow.